My name is Hayden Guest. I'm the director of the archive, and I'm really pleased that you could all join us tonight for this really special occasion. We've been invited to Second Life by Chris Marker, who's known probably best for his film work, but really he's better described as a multimedia artist. Chris Marker has, of course, worked in photography, film, small gauge and 35, video, analog video, video installation, and now boldly entering the world of the virtual world that is Second Life. And as is the custom in Second Life being a virtual world created in 2003 by Linden Labs, we don't actually appear there as real people, but as avatars. So let us introduce ourselves. So I am Chushi Jimenez, right there, and
hey.
And to my right we have Etoile Setsuko.
That's me.
And Mariko Woodford is joining us as well. So let's just explain what exactly is happening here. Chris invited us to give us a tour of this space which is called Ouvroir. It's French for workshop. This was a space that was created for a major exhibition at a design museum in Zurich called Chris Marker, The End, Farewell to Movies, like Farewell to Arms. Now, Second Life is quite popular. Word has gotten around about this event, so we may be joined by some other people. You know, this is we rehearsed this event, but we're still going to be somewhat.
We don't know who this is.
But let's take a look at let's just give you some people an idea of what Second Life is exactly. Here is the museum itself. For those of you who haven't actually, it's this large structure here. And this is yes, you can fly. We'll be doing that in a minute. Here's the museum itself, and within this space, we're going to meet Chris in just a couple minutes, and he's going to, it's Chris's, of course, avatar, Sergei Murasaki, and he's going to give us a guided tour of his Second Life museum. Someone just fell. And so we're gonna have a chance to explore and to speak with Sergei about this space. I just want to I need to thank Icarus Films and Jonathan Miller especially. We've been working together with them. They've just released 9 Marker films on DVD. We actually have them for sale at the box office for a discounted price. I also want to thank Naomi Yang, otherwise known as Etoile Setsuko, from Exact Change Press. Damon and Naomi they were the ones who first put me in touch with Chris, what's been quite an extraordinary relationship. And they're also the publishers of Chris Marker's CD-ROM, In Memory, which is available now for the latest Apple Macintosh system. I also want to thank French Cultural Services and Brigitte Bouvier, the cultural attaché of France in Boston, who's with us tonight. And so let's begin, shall we? All right. So now we're going
to fly.
We're going to fly up to the museum. Come on, girls.
We're going to go to the entrance ramp first.
All right. So actually, there are quite a few people there already.
You're looking through Hayden's.
Right. We're looking, yes, with the point of view of Chushi Jimenez, my avatar. And I forgot to mention an important part of the evening. We're going to be talking with Chris, but then you're going to have a chance, you, the audience, to ask him questions at the end of the tour when we are going to retire to Gorgon's Island, which is off to the side. That's Chris, actually, right there, standing on top of the museum. Let's go down, shall we? All right. All sorts of, and you can create your own avatar. You can shop for things for them. You can buy them accessories. Tell some people have gone to town. So where is everybody? let's get going. I think before...
Okay. Before we get started, we should introduce Guillaume.
Okay. Chris provided us a poem about Guillaume-en-Égypte. And I'll read this out. Guillaume-en-Égypte was a cat, a smarter cat you'll never meet. He befriended owls and rats, and for this became a myth. He brought drive and inspiration to Max Moskowitz and Chris M. when out of some aberration, this project fell upon them. Building a virtual museum is more tricky than a real one. Marble, wood, and linoleum are lighter stuff than mind alone. So Guillaume came to the rescue, hyper-inventive and bragging, to be ready to give the cue when both humans were lagging. So you spectators who were taught that there is no place like home, don't forget this place will be naught without the goal of Guillaume. The typing sound is... What is in the mood?
At Chris's request, we have a little dance party to get started.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people here. Read what I write to Chris. Whoops, I need to stop dancing. Stop.
Sometimes there's a lag.
There we go.
We can't stop dancing.
So I just told him, hello, Sergey, we just read the riddle. I'll stop this guy from dancing. All right, David, you can sit.
We can't stop dancing.
Oh, we will in a minute. I think there's a lag because there's so many people here.
Yeah. Try again.
All right.
Okay. No, I thought.
I did. You will stop in a minute. All right. Let's keep going. Shall we begin? Even though we are still dancing. Ah. Ah, God. Let's see what Chris has to tell us. All right, maybe the dancing wasn't such a good idea. You may stop by clicking on Guillaume. Let me go down and do that. Chris, who is 88 years old, understands technology better than most people.
Okay, we'll be right back. Yep.
Okay. Ah.
All right.
All right, let's stop. All right, I think I have at last stopped dancing.
I don't know. Try again.
Oh, he just went down. Hold on.
So many people.
I know, this is...
Okay.
let's get started. I'm going to ask him the first question. Asking Sergey, how did you first discover Second Life? Travel is, of course, such an important aspect of your work. So when Chris is speaking, you can see his avatar is typing. That's an option here in Second Life. I couldn't tell. I just heard about it. All right, let's go. We're getting warmed up. Then one day I was in, and immediately it looked familiar. I said, let's talk about the design of the museum itself. The architecture is quite amazing. I'll go back to that question about the familiar in a minute. So I told to myself, this is the world of the invention of Morel, famous Argentine novel. And in what ways is Second Life and Morel familiar to you? Let me move out of the way of these. My God, there are a lot of people. I think we should.
Maybe we should start. Maybe we should start walking. Where's that go?
These people, you never know who's behind. As these landscapes without climate, I'm asking, let's go up to the museum, it's getting crowded.
Go.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, see, once you're, there were just too many people in there. All right. See if they're joining us.
It's hard to get around them.
Yeah. We were afraid this was... I'll say, Sergey, let's go. We have a few places designated safe spots, so we may take off to one of those.
Wow! Oh my
wow,
God!
there.
So
there.
many people.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Where?
What's he saying?
Where it is so easy to lie that I'm sure some visitors derive a perverse pleasure to say the plain truth.
You can put up your local chat if you want, just.
Oh, yeah. I meant plain. It's easy to make typos here.
Let's go to the screening room.
Yeah. I think we're just going to cut ahead. try to go to there's a screening room up here.
Oh my God, they're all coming with us.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. They're coming behind us. Uh-oh. We showed Dawn of the Dead last night, and I'm feeling like... My gosh, look at that chubby guy running. Where'd Chris go?
Chris is walking ahead.
Is he ahead?
Yeah, he's ahead.
All right. Oh, here he is.
Oh my God.
All right, excuse me. Oh.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get the first seat. So we're going into a little cinema here off on the side. Once we find a quiet spot to talk, we'll have more of a conversation.
You might have to go to a
Secluded location.
oh my God, there's a small child too.
All right. We're going into the screening room. I'm gonna sit here. Oh my gosh. All right. We're gonna see.
The brides reminded me of that Buster Keaton. All the brides.
We're gonna see Chris's latest film. Let's see if we can see. It's called Layla Attacks. And there you have it. All right.
Well, let's ask him about Layla Attacks. We're here.
Yeah, I will. Somebody asked, how did you meet Layla? Wow. She came to my place and looked interested. Asking what did Guillaume think. Then I discovered she frightened the cat. And she did it for me first take. I'll say she's a natural. Somebody said LOL. Wow, there's some really creepy person with wheels. He was already in Cat's Paradise. He approved. Guillaume, of course, passed away some time ago. Let's go into the museum, if we can. The movement's a little bit slower because there's so many people. Gonna fly. So this is the museum itself. This is a grand hall, the main exhibition space. The museum was supposed to be taken down. You have to lease land on Second Life, and it is actually quite expensive. And the Centre Pompidou came through at the last minute and extended the lease. So, but we still don't know how long the museum will be up for. Let's see where Chris
Really is like being on the museum tour with all these people.
I know it is. On carousel. Ask about the tree. Can you tell? You design your own.
You can design your own, and you can well, you start with a stock figure, and then you can alter the appearance. And I think
I asked, can you tell us about the tree? And I'm referring to this tree that's in this image, which we can see off to the side. These are two photographs taken by Chris Marker. One in 1962, another 2002, the exact same spot, off to our right and left, respectively. Do you see the photos? See a whole series of images around us. These are all images of Chris's, some stills from films. So shall we look at the photos? Let's look at some of these individual images. You can actually activate them in. Okay, so he's composing a response. You can actually touch the images and some of them will turn around. Okay. Place de la République is the traditional gathering point for the demos, for the demonstrations. Chris Marker has, for many, many years, taken photographs of political demonstrations. There's actually an exhibition online of photos taken on May Day of this year, earlier this month. And there's actually a major photo exhibition at the Peter Bloom Gallery, which opened tonight in Chelsea. Somebody else is joining in. I took the first photo in '62, tense atmosphere. Eight dead, 1 million came to the funeral. In 2002, I was at the same place. And suddenly the size of the tree jumped to my eye. I'm going to ask, and what about these images, the spelling or mistake? 40 years of my life were crafted in this tree. I'm going to ask about one of these images that he's paired together. Chris has done, some of his first work was doing photo books, types of photo montage, like the slice of redwood in Vertigo. Vertigo, of course, being referenced throughout Marker's work, most notably in La Jetée, where we actually see a sliced redwood, a direct quote from the Hitchcock classic. I have a problem. For the first time, I don't see the images here. Let's see. And I said, let's look at one. They've disappeared like the frescoes in Fellini's Roma. Well, not for us. Okay, you want to take it? Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, good. Here I see Begley Simon Signoret. Signoret was a childhood friend of Chris's. When was this taken, I'll ask? They grew up together in Neuilly.
Tell us about this pairing.
Where is it? No. Oh, there you are.
Can you see it switching?
This one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm switching it.
Yeah, this one image is paired together too. Well, it's not showing up, but it's activating it. I think there's so many people that things go down. If I can find it. Simone was like my sister. We went to school together. Oops, sorry. Here she plays in The Confession by Costa Gavras. Ask about those images that move. I'm trying to get him to talk about those if we can. It's not working. Which ones?
Switching between. From San Solo.
Trying to activate it. Oh, why it doesn't. Oh, he's trying to do it. Oh, I see, yeah. There's a, you can see it on your computer, but it's a political demonstration.
Maybe that's not San Solo.
Well, the other image was, that was from the, okay, well, why don't we just go to the books? So.
Okay, let's go to the book.
May 68. Été, May 68.
I'm asking him if he chose all the parents.
And a serene beauty from Cape Verde.
Told us in advance he didn't want to make typos.
Like I said, let's go to the books. Got a selection of books over here.
I'm just walking through them now.
And the animation is going to show up. These are a series of the Petit Planète books. Chris famously edited.
Standing on top.
Asking him, can you tell us about the Petit Planète book series that you famously edited? I'm making you all dizzy. Let's talk about the Petit Planète books. We can see an example here. Notice the mice. So the concept came from the will to contradict the traditional guidebooks. Famously, the Petit Planète series of guidebooks always somewhat pompous. And on the cover of each image, there's a really evocative woman of extraordinary beauty from the respective country. I inserted also some traits of movie editing. That's all. Let's ask about the covers.
What does he mean by traits of movie?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll ask traits of movie editing. One, the book Russia here, you see Guillaume and Lenin's mausoleum. Oh, right, we can see that. That's an idea of Max. Max Moskowitz is the co-editor of the series. Oh, there we go. I'm curious to know about the covers, though. What about the covers? Was this your idea? Scars by Jackie Bear. That you know it. No, I don't, I confess. Yes, close-ups. Ask if he took these portraits himself.
We do have a,
Oh, we should
you
go to
can
that.
switch
Yeah.
to, let's look at,
That looks pretty obvious today, but then they put all sorts of unnecessary things on covers.
look at the series of the covers. Wow.
All right, we're going to look at this. The whole series. And there they are. They're quite beautiful. Done? Oh, we can sign up. Now we're going to go to Silent Movie, which is a video installation piece here. This is how it appeared at the Wexner Center as 5 monitors stacked onto one another.
Best way I've found to go there is just to fall. To the
Oh
next
no,
level.
we're doing Silent Movie
Oh, okay.
first. And for tonight, Chris prepared a special single channel version of Silent Movie, which we'll watch in a second. And as before we watch Silent Movie, tell us about the basic concept of this piece. Video to celebrate cinema's 100th year. This is a video piece that Marker was commissioned to make to celebrate to mark the 100th anniversary of cinema. You can see it off to our left there. I took the pretext of the 100th anniversary to celebrate the black and white. There, make it a little brighter. All my childhood memories of cinema as I discovered it. The rest came by itself, as usual. Okay, Herb, let's go to silent movie. Asking Chris about these posters which are related to silent movie. I hope some people recognize old movies they saw long ago, didn't they?
Showed them, yeah.
So I'm going to go to a series of the posters. Now, a pre-make is like a remake, except that it has been made before.
Chris is saying,
The plain fact that I made them up shouldn't impeach memory to work. Memory was given to man for lying. First movie where captions fill more space than image. You can see them better with the mouse, look. asking, is this how you remembered these films? As film montages or montaged films, I guess. When you saw on television a film you saw long ago, it happens that you rejoice to recognize parts of it. But to me at last, it often happens that I remembered things which are not there. So this is memory, how it works in fragments, broken. And it's spelling this. Memory is made to tell fairy tales. And ask if La Jetée is a fairy tale. Is La Jetée a fairy tale? You could say that. Right. Let's go downstairs. Not a staircase, so we just fall right down. Oops. Wow. Oh, there he is.
These photographs first.
Yes. Tell us about this gallery of illustrious directors, and here we can see we have images of Tarkovsky, the greatest, Wim Wenders, Terry Gilliam, I went to see him on location in Sweden. I tested my first video camera. Took some parts of his directing. When he came to Paris as a sick man, I continued. I don't remember we did talk about it or planned anything. I don't remember if we did talk about it or planned anything. I was there, I filmed it, it seemed natural. And I did it until his deathbed. As if the God he believed in had driven me to leave a testimony. As you were speaking about the zone even before Tarkovsky, an incredible synchronicity. Marco was referring to as an alternate reality, perhaps not unlike the Second Life, which he called the zone, which would of course become the space that Tarkovsky would explore in Stalker. Well, zone is a common word. You find it in Apollinaire. On to vendors. Kevin proudly wears a Guillaume t-shirt. In the Northern Festival in Finland. The Festival of the Midnight Sun, run by the Kurosaki brothers, where they actually show films in the northernmost point in Finland. That's the only festival where Chris Marker has ever been seen. Right, it's true. Oh, he'll correct me on that. As a friend of Angel's, he was a good recruit for the Cats International. Terry Gilliam's in Finland too, this picture too. This is an edge. Whoops. Sorry. A lot of people. La Jetée is the meeting place for film heads around the world. What does that say? Birds. Each one draws a cat on a whiskey bottle.
Oh, this is the La Jetée bar
Oh,
in
right.
Tokyo. A bar that maybe seats 6 people.
Right, and then vendors, of course, filmed it in Tokyo Ga. We have the Coppola bottle, the Jarmusch bottle, the Herzog bottle. One day you should make an exhibition of them. Gladly. Ask about this gentleman here. Do you people all know Paulessian? Say no. I'm sure some of you do, but. Oops, I meant to say he remains unknown in the US. What can you tell us? Wow, it's a long answer. He's the last living inheritor of the great Russian dynasty. Eisenstein, Dovzhenko, Barnett. I need some answer. Under Stalinism, he could manage to make films with much suffering. Thank you for telling us about that. Since democracy? No. None. I'll tell them about YouTube in a second. I'm going to ask, when did you first see Soviet films, the silent classics, so important to your work? First in the film clubs, then I was often in Russia. To make the last Bolshevik, I had access to the state archives, a dream. And with a cat on my knees. I'm asking, is this where you first started to think about montage, when you were seeing Soviet films in the film clubs? Definitely. Vertov was my teacher. So what did you learn from Vertov? The only teacher I ever had, by the way.
How about Guillaume?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hey, how about Guillaume? Etoile asks. That, my death, my dear, sorry, gosh, would take a whole evening. Asking about Costa Gavras the Great, shouldering the camera and the weight of the world, and that amazing portrait we have over here. Guillaume wasn't a teacher, everything except just that. He was everything except just that. Okay. Let's go to Costa Gavras. Whoops. People should have been here. They could ask that question. Joris Ivans, the Flying Dutchman, right here. And then we have Francis Ford Coppola. Okay, let's go to the Hollow Men. So I said, let's go to the Hollow Men. Can you speak about T.S. Eliot, who is so important to your work? We're going to see a version of the Hollow Men. Markers, what sequence?
That's it.
Right. The version we are going, whoops. Well, we can go to, why don't we watch the Hollow Men?
Right.
Let's watch the Hollow Men. Herb. So we're in a very crowded space. I'm asking him about the photographs. Can you tell us about the photographs used in the Hollow Men? Where did you find these? Chris is saying that he's collected so many rushes in Second Life that he needs a third life to turn them into a movie. We're in the third level of the museum right now. And while we were waiting, another dozen or so people showed up.
Time to retreat.
Yeah, no. That's true. The Hollow menu have all sorts of material, video stills from television, postcards, family photographs. Those of the soldiers at the hospital are from my father's album. And also bits of pieces I found on the net. I reworked all that with Photoshop. I'm asking, World War I is such an important touchstone for the film and for your work in general, it seems. You must have heard many stories as a child. Not directly. Soldiers didn't talk so much about hell, like deportees in World War II. But I saw all the great silent war films. And I saw grown-up people fainting in the cinema for they couldn't bear the memory. I'm asking, and yet Wings started your love of cinema, didn't it? Marker recalls Wings as being the first film he saw. And aviation also. Asking, shall we go to the X plugs? And that's this next gallery space over here. Sorry. All right, let's take a look. I think this is Guillaume. says you should use. Asking which ones would he like to speak about. There's so many of them. So X-plugs feature quite prominently on In Memory, of course. That's Guillaume, G-E-E, purring. Let's talk about Guillaume in the art gallery. Did he love art? What's that? He's not typing. I didn't get it. Oh, here he goes. He was a bit Duchamp-esque. Ask in what way?
Maybe we should go to the opera. It's crowded.
He loved art in the secretest of his soul. He hated the art world and the hype. All right, I'm going to propose that we go to the island so we can take some questions from the audience. We'll see some more of the museum space as we do that. Angel to turn down her halo. Yeah. Okay, perhaps all of you won't follow us. Thank you and Merry Christmas. All right, let's go. All right, so we're out now. We can see where we were. Let's see. Let's just take off. Hopefully, whoops. To do that. Okay, let me get out of it. Sorry. Escape. I. All right, well, there. Oops. Whale. You can actually ride that whale. So desire. And then to the right, that's a little island for Agnes Varda. You can sit in that cat and pet it. It's really quite wonderful. All right, so here we are. Oh, good. Wow, you guys are there already.
I teleported.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, so let's have a seat. Oh, God, there are less people. Good. All right, so Chris should join us in a minute.
Okay. Oh, no.
Oh, God.
They followed us.
Help.
Oh, well.
I guess it was inevitable. Oh, here goes another one.
They all come.
God. Down over here. Show up on a minute. Uh-oh, they're all coming. Oh, here he comes. Good. So, David, let's take some questions from the audience. And Brooke, Mariko Woodford will take those questions and ask them to Chris. Off. So we're going to have an audience mic. Let's bring the house lights up a little bit.
Hayden, you want to hit 3 over there? Or somebody else is doing it.
Okay, great.
So what'll happen is I will pass you the mic, and then I will help boil your question down into a brief sentence that Brooke will ask directly to Chris. So who wants to start?
Shoot.
Question for Sergey. What are the limitations that he sees in the second life now? Things that he would like for it to be able to do that it doesn't do?
You got that, Brooke? What are the limitations of Second Life?
Some of the limitations.
Are there
of Second
things
Life.
you would like to be able to do or like to see that aren't there? Or
That's a
aren't
great
possible?
question. Whatever medium Chris Marker is working in, he's always pushing at the boundaries. Even when we were getting ready for this event, he was. I mean, he wanted us to have music cued. He wanted to have all these. I mean, there were all these. We tried to get it down as simple as possible, but it wasn't easy.
So it was his Broadway side.
Right. His Broadway side, he judged. Talk would be a good thing instead of this damn typing where I misspell. Mainly having the possibility to bring objects, images, for instance, from real life. Yeah, let's take another question.
Anyone else
Other
ready to ask a
questions from the
question?
audience?
Way back here and over on this side. Here, I'll come around behind you.
Well, I'm curious if he knows any of the other people who are appearing in this as avatars,
Oh yeah, no, he definitely does.
and maybe who some of them are. And I'm also curious, the recent film that was screened here, or video, with the cat graffiti appearing around
Right,
Paris.
the case of the grinning cat, yeah.
Seeing this makes me think that he was more intimately involved in the appearance of the cat graffiti than was explicit in that, and would he care to comment?
Well, let's make that one question. Do you want to just say, what was he in fact involved with Monsieur Chat, or what was his involvement with Monsieur Chat, M.CHAT? He was answering someone else's question in the meantime, so I mixed
Who
them
was
up.
the other question?
Yeah, that was the Brazilian guy. Oh, what was the question originally? Oh, right, he asked, why Malraux with Goya with the title for a revolutionary in the X-Plug? And he said, so I mixed Malraux, the Spanish War, and the memory of Spain in a nutshell. And that was referring to one of the X-Plugs in the gallery. And of course, Second Life is free. Anybody can create an avatar and go, so you're all welcome to go and visit this museum when it's not so crowded. It is quite wonderful, and there are many, many things to see, many more than we can do in this evening. I started filming cats on the roofs, wondering who was behind.
I think he means the cat
graffiti.
Right, the cat graffiti. For those of you who've seen the case of the grinning cat, Chris Marker's most recent feature-length film. Later on, we met and we became friends.
Should we take another question?
As I don't travel anymore, I send him to present the film. Leah, let's take another question. Right here in the middle.
Would you please ask what possibilities he sees for machinima, which is digital video captured within Second Life or another kind of 3D environment?
Get
Thanks.
that? How do you spell that? Machinima? Okay. And so now there are grinning cats in Hong Kong, Macau, Beijing, Seoul. The cat went Asiatic. Now the question, what are the possibilities you see for machinima? Hadn't time to really test it. Buy all that will be used, no doubt. Oh, hadn't time. I gotta read my own name. Hadn't time to really test it. Buy all that will be used, no doubt. But all. Right.
Is that time for another? Does that mean we should go on to another question? Or do you
Yeah,
want
let's go on
or
to
ask
another
him to
question.
or follow up with him on that? All right. So there's one way over here.
Exercise, David.
Oh, bonsoir.
Wait, they said it
more.
to, from the gallery, the Mariaki Nishi, someone at the side.
Could you ask him to talk about it a little bit? To talk a little bit about the title of the exhibition, that in French is Cinématographie sans film, that we cannot translate exactly into English, but the idea in which cinema continues without movies in the museum. If you could ask him about the title.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear that. Did you get that?
I asked if you could ask him about the title of the exhibition in French, that
Oh,
is
farewell to-
Cinématographie sans film, cinematography without movies.
Right,
more
a
or less in
farewell
English.
to cinema.
Yeah, but the idea in which cinema continues without movies in this
Okay.
space.
In the French title.
Right. And then I have a follow-up question. Say in the original French.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, let's. You want to answer that, Monica? Tell him we had a really good audience.
Is that the same exhibition as Cinématographie sans film?
Was that the name of the Zurich show?
The one that she's talking about, Cinématographie sans film.
Right, it's the same exhibition,
Okay, all
right?
right. But I think specifically she was wondering about, not so much about the idea of farewell to cinema, but what would a cinematography without film be?
Okay.
It's all one and the same, I don't know.
Do you have that? Okay. So what would cinematography without film be? I considered healthy to draw a line between the so-called filmmaker, what I never thought I was, and the hungry beginner I am in the new fields. Hungry.
Shall we take another question while he's answering about cinematography?
What we do for one.
You might mean what we're doing.
We could take another one.
Yeah, that's true. Let's take another one from the audience.
Yeah, since it's all so much typing.
Hey, John's got a question. But I also quoted Baudelaire, who wrote in his Constitution, the right to contradict oneself.
I know Chris was ecstatic about Barack Obama's election. I'm wondering what he thinks of his performance this many days later.
Great, good question, John. What do you think of our new president's performance in his first 100 days? You did damn well, if you want my opinion.
Are there any more questions for Sergey? Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah, how much time does Sergey spend in Second Life each week? I'm just curious.
He's answering the...
With all the traps they set for him, he remains incredibly solid. Not much, unfortunately. Oh, how much time do you spend in Second Life? Not much, unfortunately. Okay. That'd be a good question to ask about the exhibit really being over or not. Too much to do in this other side of the world called reality. Will you remain active in Second Life after the exhibit is over? I'm looking for new ways to use the avatars. Or avatars. Such as, we could ask ask if avatars is a typo. That's a good question. Imagine that we managed to program them with all our memories. And that once they may go by themselves. I'm falling asleep. Even when we're not here. Even when we will not be at all. We will leave them behind like ghosts. And after a while, nobody could tell if the avatar he is speaking with is dead or alive. That will be finally the invention of Morel realized. Any follow-up questions?
Hard to follow that question.
No, it is hard to follow that. Anything else from the audience? Well, he's not really in Second Life. I would invent a new life. I told you memory is made for lying. Can you tell us about your new show in New York? There's even a video game where you're supposed to pass the flu to as many persons as possible. That's in the show in New York?
I think you maybe it's
Oh,
continuation.
Oh. A ready, speedy world. Answering the question, I've seen avatars with swine flu. Do you want to ask again that question, Brooke? Maybe he didn't catch it. All right, I'll switch to sunset.
I'm in charge of environmental settings.
It's as disordinate as possible. Photos, X plugs, word plays. Is it disorganized? Or disordinate, maybe?
This is the show in New York?
This is a show at the Peter Bloom Gallery. You know, seen from afar, my path seems a little confused. But don't be mistaken, it is. Anything else from the audience? There's a question here in the back. Yes. So can we talk about the commercial? How does he feel about the commercial side of Second Life?
Or real life businesses,
businesses,
advertising
that's fine.
in
Okay.
Second Life.
He said, what was he answering? What question was he answering? Someone. Oh, whether in memory will be made into a website, the CD-ROM in memory. My idea is to offer parallel to my virtual museum. An open space where people may set their own photos and text using my architecture. And then be able to burn their own in memory. Right. I think, was that an answer to the question? Right, that's still talking about that. Maybe let's see if he's going to. So do you have opinion about the advertising of real life businesses in Second Life? Frankly, I never approached the business side of Second Life. Already, I don't understand economy in real life, so here. All I know is that a Chinese woman became a billionaire starting in Second Life. I have a question. Last question. Did you have any input into the design of the museum? We discussed a lot with Max, but the oomph of the final thing is entirely his. Ask if it's really going to close. And when. We found a sponsor to prolong 6 months, then I don't know. The things that are born are due to end, aren't they? Well, on that note, shall we?
I think it's time for
All
a
right.
drink.
Yeah, let's have it. On that note, shall we have our drink? Let's drink to the good people at Harvard. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Sergey. Every. So this is great. Thank you. They're sending their best back to you. Estevania? Yeah. Say, oh yeah. So Yasumi Nasai. Wow. Curtain. Yes, thank you again and bonne nuit. Oh, that's it.
Oh, good.
Well, and then we should say good night too. Bow. Oh, maybe not.